Here it is, the entire playoff tree for you. You were talking about some of the matchups before. That's where it is. The road to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. The Chiefs and the Lions will have the byes this week. The Chiefs really get 2 weeks of byes because they didn't show up on Sunday, so they get 2 weeks off, Kansas City. And then there are matchups which we're going to dive into a little bit here now, Scotty. So we're set. This is the best time of the year, playoff time. All the boring nonsense games that we watched the last 3 weeks are gone. Serious January football is here. Let's go.
I mean, let's have at it. I thought it was interesting to see who didn't make it. Like the Bengals, they come all the way back, go to 9-8, they don't make it. The Dolphins, they were going for 3 straight playoff years. They haven't won a playoff game since before Christ, but they didn't make it. And then right after their game, you see Tyreek Hill, he goes, he wants out.
Well,
get me out of here.
We played.
Get me out of here.
Me and Joe played it yesterday when you were off. So we played Tyreek after the game, given the whole, man, I'm out, man. I'm going to see you later. I'm getting out of here. Like, what's his problem? What? Yeah. I mean, I know it was a long year for him there, but that's like, why would you want to leave Miami? Honestly, we always say that's such a great place to be. But I guess he's had enough. But he does have a contract. Let's remember that. Can't just walk out the door.
Maybe he'll move in with Jimmy Butler at his new home when he leaves. Was there anything funnier than seeing that team suspend him for 7 games for opening his big fat mouth?
All these guys wanting to leave Miami. What is the matter with them? Seriously. Butler, Tyreek.
I'll go to
Miami. Why not?
Have a SportsGrid studio in Miami.
It's a hell of a lot better than being here in the winter. That's for sure. We're gonna head down to Miami. Let's start with Saturday night. Since come on, it's the Steelers. In fact, I gotta have to wait. I got a couple clips of Tomlin for you that we will play when we come back. We'll hear from Harbaugh as well as round 3 between the Ravens and the Steelers. They split this year, and you're going to hear all the numbers again this week, Scotty. I'm going to give them to you. Tomlin's record against the Ravens. Tomlin's record against the spread against Lamar. All the blah, blah, blah. You're going to get it all from me because I think the Steelers are going to cover on Saturday night. So you're going to hear all of it from me all week long.
Well, look, it is a playoff game, and they are playing for their lives. It's one and done, or you either get it done or you're finished, season over, glad bag time. So, I could see it being a game. Seeing them winning is so far in my rearview mirror, and I don't care what I said. I don't care about the Philly. I don't care about, the Baltimore. I don't Kansas City, Cincinnati. What's the difference? They lost all 4 of the games. They fumbled away 2 of the games.
Let's start, Tomlin, with talking about the last 4 weeks. Of course, they haven't been good. They've lost all 4 games heading into the playoffs. Here's Mike.
It's important that we take the lessons learned from the last month.
Oh, my God.
Unfortunately, you probably learn more when there's failure, and obviously we've experienced some of that. Some of it not jaw-dropping things or earth-shattering things, more confirmation of things that we believe in or things that we engineer victory by. We suffered the consequences of not winning the turnover to battle
in
recent weeks,
bro.
and that's been very evident. We've also suffered the consequences of not performing to our standards in the red zone, offensively and defensively. And oftentimes your ability to win possession downs within those situations define you, that 4-point swing. During that 4-game stretch, we weren't strong enough defensively in that area, and we certainly weren't strong enough offensively in that area.
I can't. Listen, Mike, I can't take it anymore. This guy just blows smoke about he's smarter than everybody in the room, and he's going to use big words and all of his rhetoric. And the reality is that, let's face it, he hired Art Smith. He hired Matt Canada. Both of those guys are literally, along with Ken Dorsey, the 3 worst offensive coordinators in the history of the National Football League. Ken Dorsey should no more be allowed to coach football than I should be running the NFL. Let's stop. This guy, Art Smith, is a hack. The play calling is so boring. I said at one point Saturday night, I have had more fun at church than sitting in this stadium watching this absolute shack pie of an offense run their gamut of nothingness. They run up the middle, off tackle on every single play. They do nothing else. When they throw the ball, you want to keel over. How about this? It's 3rd and 9. They always throw a 3-yard pass. I mean, they are so anemic. I'm done with it. Don't even start with me. I'm done with it. I can't even believe you're taking the 10. Honestly, I'm done with it. I'm going to have a stroke. I feel I may get up right now and leave. Right now on this show. I can't even take it anymore.
Gonna be a blue-collar game. Like 16-13, 2013 Ravens, somewhere. The defense for the Steelers will show up on Saturday night in Baltimore. Here's the deal with Tomlin in the playoffs. I don't have to tell you this. Mike's now 8-10 in the postseason. He has not won a playoff game since 2016. He's lost in the wild card round 3 of the last 4 years. You had sent me a thing, all these teams that also hadn't won playoff games. There's actually more than that list even was. And they've all fired their coaches 3 or 4 times since 2016. The Steelers, of course, haven't with Tomlin. Mike's well aware of his poor record in the postseason. Here he is saying, there's nothing I can do about it. We got to win this week.
I don't know that it needs to be restored. I just think that we've been in too many battles and we've had too much success to be fragile in that way. We certainly can hate our recent performances and the outcome of those recent performances, but I don't think it's reflected in terms of how we feel about ourselves or our ability to make plays or engineer victory or win games.
So basically he avoided it. The question is basically what he did about how he's played and how he's gone in the playoffs in the past. 10 for Mike, staring at possibly 8-11 on Saturday night. Let me play you Harbaugh, then I'll give you the... He doesn't win anymore in the playoffs. He just doesn't.
He won once.
Doesn't win.
He won once.
That's it. And it was early. You know, it was very early in his coaching career, the one time that he won. And that's what they say sometimes, you know, enjoy it because you never know when you're going to be back or when you're going to do it again. And he hasn't, unfortunately, since. Here's Harbaugh on the other side with the Ravens on facing the Steelers for a 3rd time.
We know them. They know us pretty well. There's always that little, chess game going on. Game of Thrones, I don't know, whatever, with them because it's always something different. There's always wrinkles thrown in every week. So that's the part of it that we study really hard.
Yeah, listen, I just talked to somebody about, the Steelers, and he said to me, what'd they lose to Buffalo by? I was like, 14, 17?
Yeah, it was 30. I think it was 14. 31-17, I think, off the top of my head was the score of that game last year.
He said that's what the Steelers are going to lose to the Ravens by.
Look, I know it feels that way, and I know everyone's on the Ravens. It's 10 at some places. I'm seeing some 9.5s as well for this game. I just feel like every time these two get together, and I know last time in Baltimore a few weeks ago, they ended up covering a big number. This is always a defensive struggle. This is always a game. This is never a high-scoring game, especially when the stakes are this high. I don't think the Steeler offense will be good, but I think the Steeler defense will be good, and they're going to keep them in the game for as long as they possibly can. They're not going to win, but I think that's way too many points for a matchup like this, Steelers and Ravens. Way too many.
Look, let me just say this so we're clear here. The Steelers' defense is ass, okay? They haven't stopped anything in a month. I mean, nothing. They can't stop anything. First downs, 3rd downs, 4th downs. They don't stop anything. No one is afraid of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense anymore. Their season went like this. Everything was going smooth. They're 10-3, and then they went off the rails like a train flying off the tracks into the woods, and it flips over and everybody dies. That's exactly what the Steelers season did. When you're 10-3 and you finish 10-7, and now you got a road wild card game you're going to lose, it's going to be a fiery landing. Trust me.
Well, hopefully that fiery landing
They just got
can
their
be within
ass
9
beat
points.
there.
Hopefully the fiery landing can be under 10 points for them on Saturday night. Let's just keep it under 10 if it's going to be a fiery landing for them. The early game on Saturday will be the Chargers and the Texans in Houston. Of course, the Texans win the AFC South, second year in a row.
They put
they
the
always
crappy
play
games on Saturday. Did you notice?
Well, the Texans always play when they make the playoffs Saturday at 4:30. This is a staple, a tradition unlike any other. Yes, they do. Here is their head coach, D'Amico Ryans, on facing the Chargers.
Yeah, man, we're really excited about this matchup versus the Chargers. Really well-coached football team. You can see Coach Harbaugh's imprint on the football team instantly, just how sound they are in all three phases. Very sound football team. They can run. They're very, very balanced offensively, run the ball well, and of course, Justin Herbert is
like their world
one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and he's done a really great job, I think, of just protecting the football. Right? He doesn't turn the ball over a lot, and it's a lot to be said for a quarterback who does that. Right, really puts his team in really good situations.
I'm sure.
I mean, this team's as bad as the Steelers.
They finished just as bad as the Steelers, that's for sure.
They're awful.
The Texans are dogs at home to the Chargers. Chargers minus 2.5, 42.5. The Chargers signed Ezekiel Elliott to their practice squad in case any of their running backs go down. Of course, they've had some injuries with both their guys throughout the year.
This is not the last time you're going to see he's going to get picked up by somebody for 5 minutes. Like, this guy will serve no purpose on the Chargers whatsoever. Zero. He's finished. He's like a boxer that just won't get a clue that he's finished. He just keeps fighting. I mean, this guy is Donald Cerrone. I mean, honestly.
Cash the checks.
Ezekiel Elliott is
cash
so
checks.
finished. He's so finished. Done. You're
done. Gotta cash the checks. That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, Zeke will.
His checks are this big now.
They're still going. He's still going to the window, though. He wants to keep making that walk. You got to keep making that walk to the window with the checks every week.
No one that loves him tells him. No one that loves him tells him he's got to stop this.
No. There's nobody that does that. We will come back. I'll give you the Sunday numbers. The 3 games on Sunday, including the Bills, who will have Bo Nix and the Broncos in Orchard Park early on Sunday to start the day.
That's a task for the Bills. That is a test.
I am very excited about the game Sunday at 1:00 at the Belo. Of course, as the Buffalo Bills, they're the 2 seed in the AFC. They will take on the Broncos, who got that last spot after they the Chiefs handed them this. The Chiefs didn't show up to the game, and the Broncos destroyed them at home, which allowed him to be here. So rookie Bo Nix going to make his first playoff start. This is now 8.5 for this game, and one of the bigger totals, Scotty, that we have going at 46.5. It was 47.5 yesterday, so it's going down just a touch. The Bills should handle their business here. You and Gabe talked about this earlier. This should be a game where they should win comfortably, but maybe it's just me being pessimistic Bills fan. I'm not so sure that's the case. I've seen them screw around in this wild card round in the past, with this Alan McDermott since they've been around. I could easily see the Broncos either backdooring this or hanging around in this game, because the one thing about the Bills is, Scotty, yes, they score a lot of points, but their defense can give up some points as well, and that's what would worry me in this game.
I'd be worried about scoring points against that Denver defense.
I'm not worried about that. I don't think that. I think Denver's defense, I don't think they're that great. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction. I know that their numbers are there. You look at some of the games this year where they played some really good quarterbacks, and they gave it up. That Saturday night game with Burrow a couple weeks ago, I mean, Cleveland went in there and scored 35, 40 points on them. I think that Allen will score. I'm more worried about the defense stopping the Bronco offense, which I think has gotten better over the last few weeks. They've scored a lot more points.
I know that yesterday, whatever it was, or Sunday, that I was watching the Denver-Kansas City game, and I know that Kansas City played no one, and that what was out on the field was not the Kansas City Chiefs, and they got smoked by Bo Nix. I mean, I thought Bo Nix was going to run for 300 yards. I mean, it was unbelievable what I was watching. 38-0. Now, I know that has no bearing whatsoever on this game, but I'll say this. I think that he's good, and he's a problem, And if he gets any confidence at all in that game, it's going to be a game.
I'm with you. That's the problem with me, is I think there's going to be confidence because I think he's going to be able to throw. If the Bills can get up early, get themselves a 14-point lead, 10-point lead, and the pass rushers can go and take Knicks down, I think that would change the game. Middle game, Packers and the Eagles in Philadelphia. Several storylines here, of course, one of them being Jalen Hurts. I'll tell you about that first. So Hurts is technically still in concussion protocol. Now, he was in it all week last week. You knew he wasn't going to play anyway in a game that meant nothing. He can't come out of it technically, Scotty, till tomorrow when the Eagles practice. If the Eagles practice and he's out there, he's out of protocol, he's going to play. He doesn't practice tomorrow, that's where things might start to get sticky in terms of the Eagles this week. Here is Nick Sirianni. Of course, they played the Packers way back in week 1 in Brazil. As Nick is going to tell you here, that was a very long time ago.
Yeah, still obviously early on in our stages of scouting them, but people, teams develop and teams, from game 1 to game, where we are now, 18. Everyone's a different team. Some teams have different players because of injuries. Schemes. You start to get used to what you're good at, what you're not good at. So everybody is in a different mode than they were, week 1. Now, obviously, there's things that are staples that are good for, have been good for them, that have been good for us, that remain the same. But, there's a lot of changes and a lot of differences. I just see at the end of the day, though, I see a really well-coached, fundamentally sound football team, and with a lot of really good football players, a lot of really solid football players on that roster.
Every one.
They don't want to give you anything.
Record. They all sound identical. It's like, they're fundamentally sound in all 3 phases. Oh my God. It's so boring.
Yeah, it's playoff time. Nobody wants to give anybody, put the cheese out there for anyone. No one wants to go and do that. They're all going to talk nice about each other. This is a physically sound, there's a fundamentally sound football team, and they really play well. They're a well-coached team, and they got great players. Everybody's good this time of year. This is a playoff game. This is a playoff team. Look, I watched the Packers last couple weeks. The Packers are beatable. You've seen it. Even I know that game didn't mean anything last week against the Bears, but Viking game the week before that, they got a lot of problems, I think, on offense recently because they're running the ball too much and not letting Love do his thing. And he's not going to have Watson either. Tears his ACL. Finished for Christian Watson, who's always hurt as it is. Right now, that is sitting at 4.5 for the Eagles, 45.5 the total. I'm on the Eagles right now for this game, unless Hurts isn't playing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Eagles are going to win the game by a touchdown or more. And I think they're going to win because of their defense. Their defense is amazing, and they're a problem. And Barkley, and he's going to do his thing. But then again, I think Josh Jacobs can give the Eagles some level of difficulty if he can get going at all. But I haven't seen – the Steelers couldn't run the ball for 5 yards against the Eagles. They couldn't do anything.
No. Look, you got to – if I'm LaFleur, you got to let Love do his thing. I just feel like there's been way too much reliance on Josh Jacobs recently. And you look last year, that guy went into Dallas and won, almost won in San Francisco. He's shown he can play well on the road in the playoffs, but you got to let him do it. You got to let him sling it a little bit and not wait till you're down 20 points to let him start slinging it in that spot. All right, we'll come back, and I'll give you the numbers on the last couple, including Washington and Tampa Sunday night, and the Vikings and the Rams, which will be the Monday night game in Los Angeles at SoFi as we get ready for a big wild card weekend here.
Did you see your boy Toenails get the 11th season of 1,000 yards?
You know, Todd Bowles is a very conservative head coach. Now, he's done a tremendous job in Tampa, but it must have really been paining him that he couldn't just kneel that ball out at the end of that game and just get the hell out of there with his victory. He's got Baker throwing the ball around, trying to get Mike Evans his yards. Here is head coach Todd Bowles talking about that situation and letting Mike go and get that record.
Good morning football gave you a game ball. It was ostensibly because not only did you get Mike the record, but the risk you took to get Mike the record. Was the heart beating a little fast in that situation for you, knowing what was all at stake there?
No, I was just hoping it was complete, and, I think Mike owes me $1 million.
Cut him a check. Owes him $1 million. He made 3 on the catch. You gotta give a third of that over to the head coach, right? Give him a couple stacks for letting him get that record.
Get them toenails.
He's definitely. I hope since the time we saw him, he has already done that. I'm hoping that he's already gone and done that. I doubt it. This is the Sunday night game. The Bucs -3. Biggest total of the weekend, too. 50.5. I like the Bucs.
I do too, but you said it earlier. They have no defense, and this guy, Jaden Daniels, a badass. I think you know what? I could literally see this be a 1 or 2 point game. I really think that's a sucker line. I do not feel this is a walk through the park for the Buccaneers. They were losing yesterday or Sunday. I keep forgetting what day it is. They were losing Sunday. I was watching the game. I watched the entire game. I mean, what were they down? 16-6 at the half? They had to rally cap to win that game against the crappy Saints. And the Bucs had Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans playing. Who the hell wasn't playing for them? Just so they could win that division. So I think they got their hands full with Washington. I'm not so sure Tampa's going to win that game.
Should be a fun one. Hopefully lots of points on Sunday night with that big total hanging around 50.5. And your last game will be Monday night, the other NFC game between the Vikings and the Rams. Of course, the Vikings, Scotty, they had a real hard time Sunday night in Detroit against the Lions in that game that could have got them the 1 seed and the bye. Here is head coach Kevin O'Connell. We got to put that behind us and get ready for the Rams.
Playing a team we went on the road on a short week and played against early this year, and they got the best of us. So there's a lot of aspects of yesterday going into this game that I think we've got the type of people and the type of environment here and team here that we're gonna accept the challenge and go compete like crazy, Ben, and try to get this thing done against like I said, a really good team that gets to play at home, rested some of their guys. All of these things that can be evaluated as how this game's going to go, in my opinion, don't really matter. We got to prepare our team, get our guys turned over, get them tactically ready to go, and go compete like crazy.
I mean, they laid it so bad on Sunday night, and you and I have said on the show a number of times they're one and done. That they're just not, they're paper champions. It's all smoke and mirrors with the Vikings. They're just not that good.
I'm with you, and I think you saw some shades of that, obviously, on Sunday night in Detroit against the Lions when they played a really good team. Now, the Vikings are favored here on the road, -1.5, 47.5 total. I like the Rams. I think you do too. I think we're going to be on the Rams here on Monday night in this game.
Yeah, there's certainly some lean in that direction for sure. And Stafford's, frankly, better than Sam Darnold will ever be. I mean, this guy's won the Super Bowl, and he's really good. And I've never felt Sam Darnold was good. And then all of a sudden this year, people started talking about Sam Darnold being a hot commodity in the offseason. I've even heard rhetoric that he would go to the Jets again. Can you imagine him going back to the Jets after the way they treated him?
Rex and Darnold, two old friends, Rex and Sam Darnold. Yeah. Bring them both back for the Jets. Why not?
Do you think the Jets are hiring Rex Ryan?